Hi there, name's Nico, and today I'll be going over patch note 0.62. There's no new character this patch. They're doing new characters every other patch now, or every other major patch. So we just had Carla last major patch, so there's nothing this patch. But we have balance changes to go over, and Cobalt Protocol changes to go over, so let's just get into it. There's a quick overview, you can look at these, interesting. We'll go those in more depth. Marcus skin, very nice. I don't know, it reminds me of, what was it, like the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, like The Revenant or whatever. Well, then he got the Oscar for it. I don't remember the name for it. We also got a Carla lifeguard skin. This is cool. And we got some Jenny emotes. We got some system changes here. So first up, we have clang clatters. Noise activity for clang clatters, even on mute. Clang clatters now turn in place and bang their cymbals for 5 seconds, which look like this now. I don't think anyone will use them, to be honest. I could be completely wrong. I don't know why someone would want to use them. I don't know, maybe the beta fight, so someone comes check it out to see if it's like they could be player C. I don't know if they'll have much use. Maybe I'm underestimating this change, but okay, very well. Transfer console and remote drone improvements. Multiple improvements for transfer consoles and remote drones. Improvements to operating transfer consoles in restricted areas. We're trying to make going for transfer consoles in restricted areas strategically viable. Transfer time for transfer consoles in restricted areas is accelerated, so originally 20 seconds goes to 10. If an area turns into a restricted area in the middle of a transfer, 10 seconds will be deducted from the transfer time. Noise pings around you will be muted when operating transfer consoles in a restricted area, so it's not actually muted, it's more reduced. So it's being reduced down from 80 meter noise ping to 30, so it's probably about like the only neighboring zones could see it. So transfer console icons on the menu app no longer reveal their status, so you can see they've changed the icons, or so deactivated on cooldown, transfer completed. I don't remember this on cooldown. Actually, maybe I have. I just don't remember the icon looking like that, but I know these ones look the same. But the icon for transfer consoles in restricted area is now going to look like this, so it's going to be this anytime the zone is restricted. I think it's fine overall. I don't think it's a major game changer. The only one that's gonna be most impacted, I guess, would be the hospital one if factory's open, or even cemetery, to be honest. And then maybe from a hotel to school. That one's not nearly as common. You might see alley or school to the avenue one as well. But the chapel one's the worst one. Like, no one's gonna use the chapel one unless it's about to turn red. So, UX improvements. Items, this was the items I'm assuming. Items and transfer supply boxes now automatically get put into your inventory upon opening. If you have insufficient inventory space, the regular box UI will be displayed. This is honestly a really nice change. So if you just want to take the box, now you can just pick up the item. I think this is also better for ping as well. Like, if you have high ping, it'll just be automatically added to your inventory, and you don't have to worry about not getting your item because of ping issues. So item collected from remote, let me scroll down. Items collected from remote drones now give a little sparkle when appearing in your inventory. Spice, tree of life, and meteorite items or materials collected from regular boxes in collection points do not sparkle. So you can see it like turns white briefly. Sure, my mouse was in the way. You can see it turns white briefly, then it shows the image. That's the sparkle. I'd say it's more of a flash than a sparkle, but you know, it's fine. It's just translated. Before, it wouldn't show that animation. I think it's really minor. Maybe it's just nice for new players. But yeah, there's a little flash before you actually see what the item is, if you don't know what you're ordering anyway. Transfer console items now have a higher visibility in the score tab, so they look different now. Yeah, they were, I swear they did look different from this before. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I swear it looked a little bit different, but oh well. Transfer console icons now have higher visibility when activating information overlay. I think this is minor, but I guess good for new players. The sound that plays when an item is being delivered by a transfer console is now quieter. Being worked on and slated to come in patch 0.65. This is 6.2, by the way, so that's 3 patches from now. Just keep in mind, about a month and a half from now. Is communication pings for credits, the ability to call remote drones from the targeted items in the area UI, and the ability to call remote drones from materials needed by an ally. Maybe the ally would be nice. I think this one would be not bad either. I'm not fully understanding this one. Ability to call remote drones. Items. The area UI. Is it like what they're showing on here? I think you could already do that. You just right click on it and it'll transfer. So I'm not too sure what it means, but anyways. Daily missions for transfer console remote drones. New daily missions that require you to operate transfer consoles and remote drones. As long as it's not about killing mutant bears or wolves. Those are the main two. Mainly, it should mainly just be chickens, to be honest. Chickens are the easiest to find. It's good. Oh my god. I'm just laughing the build. Omega Poggers Nikki 2. I know who made this build. Very funny, but anywho. Communication ping improvements. Hotkeys have been added for ping. For pin, sorry. For pin and ping. Okay, sure. This one's control left click and this alt left click. You can resign these by desired. You can now assign a hotkey for pin and ping. Assigning control alt to a different function is still under development. Alt left clicking the UI at the top right now sends new pings to your teammates. Okay, so pin and ping. Okay. I'm not fully not understanding what the difference between a ping and a pin is. Actually no, it's probably just like, okay, I probably would know what it is in game. It's just a muscle memory at this point. I think I know what I'm talking about. Never mind. I'm just not used to it. Daytime or day/time. Currently night of day X. Time until next day is Y. Restricted area timer. X seconds remaining in the designation timer. Current area currently in X. This is what I guess it's gonna show you. Wait, all left clicking UI tap center now sends new pings. I guess it'll send this to new players. Sure. You can also request materials or items you need for your teammates by using alt left click in the scoreboard. I don't really play with randos in team modes anymore, but I'm sure this is helpful if you do that. Separate matchmaking for potentially abusive players. It's in beta. No one likes being in games with teamers, flaggers, or leavers. We get a high volume of player reports, but it's not feasible to suspend every reported player. Reports can also be mistaken, and investigation has to be manually conducted through replays. Being put into separate matchmaking is a lighter penalty than account suspension. As an attempt to create a better gaming experience for everyone, we plan on to test separating potentially abusive players from ordinary players. Under certain circumstances, if a player is constantly reported by the same other player, the two can be automatically prevented from queuing in the same lobby. However, this is an edge case at this stage. This feature will continue to be developed as we accumulate more data. This is going to be... It's splitting up the queue, and if someone has been found for teaming, why would you say, oh, you are teaming, we understand that you are teaming, but we're just going to put you in this long-ass queue. Like... Or like this long queue. I don't understand. So I don't know what I feel about this. Maybe it's fine in like KR. Teaming is just so blatant in NA, at least in ranked, that it's not very fun to play. So I don't know. I don't think it's gonna do anything. And again, what happens if I don't know, you get reported even though you weren't actually teaming and then they feign a new team? It's so weird. I don't know exactly how I feel. Maybe it's good change, maybe it's not good change. I currently am on the fence, but more leaning towards it not being a good change. Okay, well, we'll see how it is. Well, I hopefully won't see how it is, to be honest. I have not teamed or anything like that, but I'm hopefully not mass reported for teaming or something. So, yeah. Other improvements: practice mode enhanced. Remove cooldown functions. You can now disable reset cooldowns and augment an item unique passive. I mean, people kind of already do that. But disabling, okay, you could reset it by just kind of like refreshing your cooldowns, but disabling them, you couldn't do that. So that's actually really good. Ranked dodge penalty, leaving the game during the character select match preparation screen. And rank now comes with a small LP penalty. Hopefully this doesn't happen when the game crashes, like it's not your fault on your own. I also know in NA some people will do this. either because they don't like the characters in the lobby, and I think if you do it because of that reason, you should be penalized for it, or they do it to just help rank pop. If you do it for that reason, I mean, I understand you're trying to help, but you can't have just one use case and be like, oh, I was only helping trying to get the pop. If it's not gonna pop, then it's not gonna pop. So I think this is fine change overall. Widen threshold for quick start matchmaking. Current conditions made it so that quick start matchmaking only ever activated for upper ranked players. Help players find more games. Quick start can now activate for lower ranked queues past midnight. Bracket what time zone? I guess it just means that low elo players weren't able to use or pop with the higher ranked people, as only the higher ranked people could pop the lower rank. So I think that's a fine change overall. Purchasing exact amounts of ER points. You can now specify the amount of ER points you want to purchase. This is a fine change, to be honest. Like, before you only had 2 options, but it's not like you got a discount for buying one back over the other. They were the exact same price, just one gave you more points. So now you can just choose how many you want, so that's fine. Spectating replay improvements. Cooldowns for unique passives are now displayed in the spectating replay UI. I like the replay UI, so I think it's a good change overall. Scoreboard / match status, character and skin names. Hovering your mouse over the character and scoreboard / match status tab now shows the name of the skin. I guess cool. I'm not really gonna use it, to be honest, but cool. Okay, now we have character price reductions. You can see to sell is now 2100, so she's getting real cheap. There's still one more price reduction she can get, and they cap it, or like the minimum price they can go is 648 coin. So just one more and she'll be at that price. This will Rio, Adela, and Nadine's costs are set to be reduced on July 21st. So Nadine, I think, is gonna go down to either this much or the 648 coin, one of the two. So yeah, if you wanted to try one of these characters, I guess it's a good time. Now we're actually in the balance changes. So first off, we have is crossbow mastery for Nadine specifically is going up by 0.1% armor pen. I don't know. I think bow Nadine is really strong right now, so people aren't gonna play crossbow until they think crossbow is broken again. Because they nerfed it a lot and they've been slowly rebuffing it. But they're just gonna keep playing bow until either bow gets nerfed. Because if bow gets nerfed, then everyone's just gonna jump ship and go to crossbow. As they've been buffing it slowly since they did the massive nerf. So this is kind of a slippery slope to do, in my opinion. So give out an eye on crossbow Nadine. Nathapon, he's still taking that panorama. I'll never stop making this reference for every Nathapon buff. Nathapon's getting a buff. I guess he's not able to really one-shot. He still has a problem with this game that any character without mobility, unless they do omega damage, is not gonna be S tier or like top tier ever. And Nathapon's one of those characters. He has no mobility, so he really needs his combo to do damage and people to fear him. So they're gonna give him 0.2% skill amp and movement speed reduction duration for targets with 3 stacks of picturesque. I can't speak, sorry. Is going up by 0.15 seconds, so they're being reduced for a little bit longer. So overall, some minor buffs. Well, I think he's gonna be top tier on. Absolutely not. I think he'll just be nice. That's all. Maybe he can use one less Q or one less auto to kill someone in the late game anyway. Early game is just like nothing. Okay, so Tia, I mentioned it in either patch 0.6 or 0.61 that this was coming, and it's finally here. Tia's true damage and color mixing is now skill damage. Skill damage has been adjusted overall, so I haven't really been playing her strongest mode squads as of lately, so I don't know how oppressive she is in squads right now. In Cobalt Protocol, she didn't feel that oppressive, to be honest, and I think with these changes, it actually might make her better, mainly because the palette swapping, which I'll get to, is being buffed, because they nerfed it when there was just true damage. So yeah, Mad Chipmunk, yellow, red. You're not really going to use yellow, red. I don't play Tia that much. I only have a basic understanding of Tia. Oftentimes, you're going to do yellow, blue. That's your main one you use. And yellow red, like maybe you'll use yellow red, but I think actually no, the least common one's probably red blue, probably yellow red, and anyways, it doesn't matter. So yellow red is getting a buff going up to 40 more damage on max level, max passive. The scaling for it is actually going down though, so scaling is losing 30% attack power and 20% scaling it. This is skill damage now, not true damage. Blessed Chipmunk is red blue. The damage is going up by 10% attack power. That's it. And just skill damage. And Magic Chipmunk, which is blue yellow, which is your main combo or main color combination, is going up by 20 at max level for base stats and 5% more attack power, and that's it. This is a skill damage. Brushstroke damage, it's going to go from 40 to 120 to 40 to 140, but the attack power scaling is going down by 10%, so it gets 20 more base stats at max level. The palette swap W paint charging time, this is what you max first, is being decreased down to or by 0.5 seconds for each color. This is actually a really huge buff, by the way, because you're gated by your paints. You're not actually gated by any cooldowns, at least for your Q, which is what your main source of damage is. So, or your passive. Q passive, but passive doesn't have a cooldown, obviously. It's your Q. So this is actually going to be a huge buff overall, and I actually think I know she's losing true damage, but I think this change will actually make her fine. Like, I don't think she'll be like Omega nerfed. And we also have a dash of color, which is her E. It's going from 30 to 150 base to 60 to 180 base, so plus 30 more damage. The attack power scaling is the same, but the cooldown is getting a huge nerf. It's going from 18 to 10 to 20 to 16. You max this last, so you're gonna get 2 seconds more base. If you want it to be the same as it was before, you gotta put 2 points into it, but my goodness, this is actually a huge nerf. You pretty much don't want Tia to leave a fight, because you don't build CDR on Tia, because you only use CDR for your ultimate and your E, so it's not like an important stat for Tia. And they also changed the UI for her paint, which is a great change in my opinion. Like, this was needed a while ago, and now it's more obvious, so good job. Now we have Rio Hasetsu, which is her passive. The armor pen is going from 515 plus, you can see the formula, crit rate 0.35%, 515, so same base, but the crit rate multiplier is going down by 0.05%. The increased basic attack damage is going, you can see the formula, okay? So you see this? Basically, it's going from 110% base to 100% base. That's it. Didn't change anything else. So they're like, look, if you want to use these stats, you actually have to build into it. But if you do build into it, you won't get as much armor pen. So, yeah, that's just the note. Mai is getting a nerf, and her max HP is going down by 7 per level. And her attack power is going by 0.3 down per level. If you saw my tier list video, you would know that I've put Mai as S tier, so this makes perfect sense to me, and well-deserved change. Marcus, okay. Let's see the Marcus changes. Marcus may be strong, but his actions still felt too weighty. We're toning down his cast delay and giving him a small boost to his ultimate's range. Improved hit sound effects, okay, sure. Violent swing, his W cast time is going from 0.4 to 0.33. A little bit of a buff, I guess. Post cast delay after enhanced violent swing is going from 0.63 to 0.3. This is actually pretty significant. But due to the limitations from the animation, the post cast delay of enhanced violent swing could not be further reduced. To compensate, we plan to increase the airborne duration of enhanced violent swing in the future. I guess they want to see how much he changes, so they don't actually want to give it to him now for some reason. I guess fair enough if you want to see how well it goes. This is actually going to be quite noticeable. Maybe it'll be worth it to use enhanced W. We will see. Increased range for Smash to Smithereens. His ultimate, his length is going from 6 to 6.9 meters, and then it's going from 4 to 4.6 meters. I've heard that the width was actually, like, the animation on the ground is actually wider than like it's supposed to be. So I've heard that this is not really a buff. This is just to reflect what the actual width of the ultimate. This one I've heard is a buff though, the length, but I've heard the width is the same. I could be wrong on that, but that's just what I've heard. Bernice, making sure foothold traps stop Bernice's enemies in their tracks in the early game. The foothold trap, his bear trap, base damage going from 20 to 60 to 20 to 100, so 40 more damage at max level, but you level this up 3rd, I believe. It could be even 4th, I could be wrong on that. But his maximum foothold traps are going from 1 to 5 to 3 to 5. This is if you didn't see my hotfix video I did, basically they changed it so that roots won't interrupt teleporting anymore, or at least they said temporarily. I don't know, I haven't seen anything about them reinstating it, so I'm gonna say that it is down for now still. So they're giving Bernice more bear traps, because what he used to do before is, at least from what I've heard from KR, is if you had a Bernice, at least one, if you had multiple, it's even more cursed, and you were at like a hospital or uptown or wherever Bernice starts, he would just place all his bear traps on the teleporter and you just wouldn't be able to leave. So that's why they reduced it down to 1 originally, because he could only do that once instead of 3 times. But now, since they've temporarily removed the root edit change, he is getting his bear traps back. So if I am wrong about the route for teleporters, like they did refix it or re-added it in, feel free to let me know in the comments. I haven't seen anything about it though. Bianca, her weapon mastery cooldown reduction is going from 0.4% to 0.7%, so they're giving a buff to Bianca. I don't know, I don't think Bianca needs that much of a buff. I think she's fine as is. I honestly could see her getting a minor nerf, but I'm not saying like major or anything like an S tier, but I think she's in a fine spot. I don't think she really needed it personally. Celine, explosive engineer, her passive, the blast wave, magnetic compulsion, cooldown reduction when enhanced basic attack is hit is going from 30 to 50% to 20-40%. Again, Celine is a character that's like played by like 3 people, but the 3 people who know the player are like amazing SS tier, like they make her look insane. And so this is mainly a nerf to I mean, it's a nerf overall. It makes sense to nerf her, but she's like omega hard, so I don't know how much of a problem she's causing in Korea to make it so that the 3 people who are doing well in her needed a nerf, but regardless, I guess it's fine. Shukai, we should remain his skill as a heavier meal, so they're changing his damage going from 10 to 190 to 50 to 230, so just 40 flat added to base stats. Everything else is the exact same. I still get 1 shot by Shukai, so I guess this makes it so that if he's less punished for missing like a Q. So okay, sure. Shuichi's max HP is going from 820 to 740. I guess Shuichi is just a character that's really popular in Korea due to his like flashiness and how good he is at low ping and such. So I guess in KR he's starting to do well again. When I looked at his stats, he didn't seem to be doing too well, but he is really popular. They're giving him a nerf. Sylvia, her Lumia Grand Prix, the increased attack speed and skill amp, if you don't know, per stack is going from 0.5 to 0.5 1.5 to 0.4 1.2, so this is at max level. It's a 0.3% amp nerf. If you don't know, per zone Sylvia visits, she gains these stacks here, and if she gets all zones, she also gets an additional like 15% attack speed and skill amp added, so it makes her really strong. She's like probably, I don't know, top 5, or if not top 5, top 10 characters in the game if you like know how to pilot her. New players do struggle with her kit because her ultimate gives her a whole new set of spells, but once you kind of understand how to once you understand how to play her, you can do really well with her. So her stats look really bad if you go below plat or like all ranks, but the higher you look in ranked, the better her stats get. So this makes it 100% stance, or 100%. Well, it makes sense But 0.3 times 15 is only 4.5% off of her thing, so I mean, if it's 4.5%, it's better than nothing, but I don't think it's going to change much. That's all. Adela is getting a buff for some reason. The character who I still think is S tier this patch or this season is getting 0.3% buff. Why? I have no idea. She's literally like top for kills right now, or if not top 5. Most kills on a character in this meta right now is all about characters who can get the most kills. So why are they buffing kills characters? I have no idea. Medina stargazing, her passive combust damage going from 5% target match HP to 2.5%, so this is literally cut in half, a 50% nerf, but honestly I don't think that's unreasonable. Damage from Luminary, her Q is going from 35 to 135 to 35 to 115, so 20 off base, and the star movement speed increase is going down by 5%. Yes, I hate trying to chase an Adina when she uses her Q star. It's very annoying. Yeah. Aiden, but mastery is going down by 0.3%. Again, I don't know how to think of Aiden. I honestly think he's fine as is. I know he becomes mega broken when he has Dane's Leaf, but I'll already foreshadow and say that Dane's Leaf got nerfed as well this patch, so it's very weird to nerf Aiden and Dane's Leaf simultaneously. But we will see how he is. Again, I always thought he was just fine unless he got Dane's Leaf or like turbo stacked items. Like Johan's per weapon mastery levels cooldowns going from 0.4% to 0.7%. Same as Bianca. Bianca got the same change. Dina actually didn't get that change if you didn't know, but I think she might have gotten that change separately, like when they buffed her after her release. I could be wrong though. I believe she got a bunch of like her weapon mastery level stuff changed, like the patch after or in a hotfix, something like that. William, we've seen enough sport anime to know that the ace pitcher can't always be on top of his game for character development or something, so the movement speed reduction for targets in the corner, so not in the center of his ultimate, is going from 50% to 30%. I don't know why we're nerfing William, to be honest. I think William's one of the weakest characters in the game. Like, he can kill people if you let him kill you. What I mean by that is just run from him. I know you'd be like, oh, in a circle I can't actually chase him, but hopefully at that point you have enough rares where you can just melt him, or if you get on top of him. So I don't know why we're nerfing him, but regardless, it's being nerfed. Yuki, we turned Yuki's buttons into the snapping ones instead of the ones that go through the hole. I guess fair enough. So the SP cost is going down, sure. So here, per shuriken weapon mastery level is actually going down by 0.2%. And Viva Yastra, which is his E, the tornado, the basic airborne duration is going from 0.5 to 0.35, so this is getting nerfed. And if you watch my patch notes video, I said shurikens here actually might be S tier because I was looking at his stats and he seemed to be doing incredibly well, so I guess he was, and so he's getting a nerf for it. Only a minor nerf, but it's still somewhat of a nerf. I mean, Sylvia got a minor nerf too, and I think she's Omega S tier. So, yeah. Jackie, Dagger, weapon mastery is going up by 0.5% attack speed. And for axe weapon mastery, the basic attack amp is going down 0.3%. Axe Jackie is doing really well, and the other weapon types aren't. But again, it's hard to say because what normally happens if whatever the strongest weapon type is, people will play that. And especially with like Jackie, where you're pretty much playing the exact same playstyle with all of them. I think Dagger's, I guess, the most unique. But I mean, it's like, from what I looked up, Dagger was playing tank with like trying to do like Bleeder Jackie with like Mount Slicer and Amp Drone. I could be wrong, but that's what I remember seeing. So I'm getting a little bit of a slippery slope to buff Dagger so much and then nerf Axe, because then people just switched to a different weapon type on Jackie. Okay, so this is the biggest change to a character, Carla. The reason why it's the biggest change is because Carla just came out and she's actually been doing really well in, I'd say in KR more than NA, but she's been doing really well regardless, and a lot of people have been expecting nerfs. I actually didn't make a Carla video. I normally do a first impressions thing, but just being busy with school and setting all that up has limited my time, but I'm starting to get in a rhythm of things, so that's why I'm hoping to do more YouTube stuff. But anyways, to improve the power distribution between her skills, we're cutting down the excessive damage, up piercing change, and eliminating synergy with items that increase attack range. Honestly, maybe this is a hot take, but I liked skills that would increase in their attack range based off your attack range, because currently attack range really only works with autos, with like the exceptions with like 2 characters. I think only 2 characters, maybe 3. But okay, excluding Carla, by the way. I think it was Nadine, and I don't know who else I'm thinking, but at least Nadine has it on her Q. But the increase, oh, I know Glove Skill also has it. That's what I was thinking. Glove Skill and Nadine Q has it. I wish they added it to more skills that may make it broken though, but it's unfortunate removing it from Carla in my opinion. Like, I wish they just changed something else, but maybe it was just too toxic. I guess, I don't know, because the thing is, her Q is supposed to be like your auto attack, and like all other auto attack can increase their attack range with attack range items, but her auto attack can't. So her weapon mastery is going down from 2.5% to 1.8%. Sorry, for basic attack amplification. Again, a lot of people are expecting nerfs, so she's gonna get hit quite hard. This is a huge nerf, by the way. 0.7% is actually a lot, losing 14% basic attack amp at max level, which is kind of insane. Piercing change or damage going from 100 to 120 to 70 to 90. So this is the 30% attack power nerf right off the bat. So this is gonna nerf crit by a long shot. I don't know if people will be playing her as crit anymore, if they're gonna be playing her as amp. So the range, the base attack range plus 0.25 meters is now just a flat 5.7. So it doesn't matter if you build sniper crossbow or Legend of the General, or, you know, one of the other crossbows. Your attack range on Q is fixed now, so you can't use the increased range option. Selfish, her W damage going from 30 to 150 to 40 to 160, so 10 damage up flat. This also really helps amp, so if you're an amp Carla enjoyer, this might be your time to shine. Readiness gauge gain when hit, it's going from 27 to 35 to 19 to 35, so not nearly as good at level 1, but it's the exact same at level 5. So they're trying to make it be like, look, put more points into this if you want your readiness gauge to increase. And again, this is probably going to help amp as well. So your readiness gauge is used for your spell amp auto. So, and yeah, in grappling maneuver, her E, the damage is going from 50 to 130 to 50 to 170, and the basic attack or base attack range is just being fixed at 6.1 meters and no longer affected by increased range options. So this is a buff over Ultra E as well, so again, like damage wise. But if you're playing her as like a crit kiter, it's gonna be severely nerfed. I don't think crit's gonna be viable. I think everyone's jumping ship to amp. If I am wrong, I'll be wrong and I'll admit it next patch, like next patch notes, if Carla gets changed once again, or like if something happens in the hotfix. But yeah, I think everyone's gonna play amp now. Kathy Suture, the stun duration is going from 0.75 to 0.45. 1.51 target hits a wall or a different enemy, so they're making it so that, also this is supposed to be root, not stun, I've been told. But this is so that it's not as rewarding if you only hit E on a target, like you want to hit them on a wall. And I think this is a good change overall. And Kathy's also like really strong right now, so it makes sense why they're doing it. It is a huge nerf though, but it's trying to make more skill expression instead of having someone just kind of be rooted for a pretty long time just for like hitting the shot, not even hitting them on a wall. Kiara cast delay improvements for Kiara. You no longer have an excuse for missing those E's. Mania, her E's, the cast time is going from 0.13 to 0.26, so it's a longer cast time, but there's no post cast delay anymore. They fixed it, and the projectile speed is actually going up by 2.5 meters per second. So you should be able to hit E's a lot easier in Kiara. I don't think Kiara needs these quality of life changes, but I know it's making her smoothness, but you need to look at her other numbers too at this point. Like, she's not doing that bad. It's not like she needed buffs. So, hopefully they keep an eye on Kiara with this. Felix, the retail spearsman, the shared cooldowns going from 12 to 10 to 11 to 9. Honestly, that's fine. Felix is on the weaker end right now and needs some buffs. This is a great buff to start with, and if you didn't know, I just released a Felix guide video today, which I will link in the top right corner here for you guys to go check out. Now, Fiora, per Rapier weapon masteries, the skill amp on it's going from 2.2 to 2.8%. This is honestly insane. I didn't think Rapier was that weak. I think, again, it's just the other weapon types are more... At least Spear is a lot stronger, and I think Rapier is fine as is, but this change, by the way, is adding 12% more skill amp at max level, which is slightly better than adding an additional White Crane fan of damage to her, so... Rapier Fiora might be back in meta from this change. I don't know why they buffed her at all. And we're gonna see Marche and Rumpe, or Marsh and Rumpe, going from its base stats are fixed, but its attack power scaling is going up by 10%. Again, don't know why. This is just gonna buff Spear, two-handed sword, because they both play currently as attack power. You might see some amp spears, but it's mainly the crit and attack power for Spear, like meta build wise. Okay, Hedgen and cast delay improvements. We have an essay to read about Hedgen. Oh my goodness. Can't wait. Smile. Charm and Despair, her Q. Fixed animation timing. The projectile animation has been fixed to always launch from the front of Hedgen's model. I don't know about this. The image they showed didn't really show this, but okay. Adjusted the cast delay for Hedgen's Charm and Despair and 5 Omens, so Q and R. After Hedgen will continue working on improving the cast delay for other characters. I really hope when they do these cast delay things like they did with Kiara above and they've done with Hedgen, they also look at other parts of their kit, because it gives them a buff. Like, it's not a damage buff, but the delay buff allows you to do other things, maybe get an extra auto win, which could change a fight. So I really hope they look at other things when they do these changes, which they didn't do originally, I guess anyways. They somewhat did after Hedgen. They gave her a hotfix change, but it was really minor. The cast delay improvements update aims to provide a smoother movement and combat experience. General information regarding cast delays. Projectile shooting skills almost always require a cast time of 0.25 seconds or more. Movement skills or self-targeting skills almost always have no cast time requirement. Post-cast delay will most likely be removed or replaced with cancelable post-cast delay. Will be applied in update 0.65, see image. Some exceptions may be made based off the flavor of the skill. Okay, interesting. We'll have to see in, again, like 3 patches from now, see what's going on. Cast time is defined as the period of time between the skill animation starting and the skill actually being casted. Post-cast delay is defined as the period of time between the skill cast completing and the player regaining the ability to input an action. Post-cast delay can make characters' movement feel stiff. Changes to a skill's cast time or projectile speed changes how difficult the skill is to hit or dodge. Cast time affects all skills regardless of type, while projectile speed only affects a projectile shot from a ranged skill. For example, increasing a skill's cast time and projectile speed might make it easier to avoid from close up. Enemies at a distance would have just as difficult, if not more difficult, of a time dodging. Changes to cast time are not necessarily buffs. For example, increased cast time generally makes a skill easier to avoid. The goal is still to provide smoother movement and better combat. It says not necessarily buffs. So they're trying to increase the cast time, but remove the post-cast delay. That's what they said they're going to do, right? So. They didn't say anything about Hedgen. They did with Kiara. Maybe. I don't know. Hedgen was strong before this change, though. Don't get me wrong. It just felt like an ironic time to change Hedgen when she was already doing well, that's all. If they reduce the cast time of most skills that are currently easily dodgeable, cast delay improvements require changes to animations, the skill itself, and the sync between the two. Thus, there's a large time commitment. We definitely ran into unexpected trouble with our first attempt at improving cast delays for Hedgen. For example, her inconsistency in Charm of Nomad, the projectile was coming out after she already finished her throwing animation. Okay, sure. You can see here that the animation, or the throwing animation, is already out by the time her arm's up behind her head. Thankfully, we fixed it in this update. Charm's Despair's animation now looks much more natural, but casting it while moving still looks a bit awkward. To fix this, we'll have to weave the skill cast animation into her walking animation. This is expected to take more time. Okay, sure, whatever. We're also fixing the long-existing bug with Charms of Despair. Hitting targets behind Henshin if they're standing too close. The up below compares the behavior in the current update with the behavior patch 6. So it still looks like they both hit behind her, or like behind Dummy. I don't know exactly what change happened here. They look the exact same here. This one actually does difference, but well, no. There's also mix-up regarding changes to 5 omens. Post-channel delay was confused with post-cast delay, but we fixed it to actually remove the post-channel delay. The get below compares the behavior in the current update with behavior patch 0.61. So you can see this time she actually has her mobility, or she's able to move a lot quicker than here. I mean, it's probably like 0.3 to 0.5 seconds quicker. That's still quicker, and you can add an extra auto in again, and that would buff. This is like a buff, and I don't know why they buffed Hejin when she didn't really need a buff, but recognize that Hejin's castle improvements led to her basic attack focused playstyle becoming prominent, for which we have to hotfix. You still need the hotfix. It's still kind of giga top tier. As always, it's difficult to predict how changes to cast delay will affect the meta as a whole, so continue to keep eyes on the situation and respond to hotfixes as needed. Well, you didn't really fix Hejin, so I can't wait to deal with Hejin for another 2 weeks. Smile. Weapons, okay. So we have Dagger, Viral Rings being nerfed by 10%, from 50 to 40%. I think this is for Kathy mainly. Maybe a bit Shoichi, but I think it's for Kathy mainly. That Pakwa Chang attack power is going up by 6, but the hex damage is going down, so it's going 5 base down, but it's also losing 35% scaling. This is a Tia nerf in general. I guess with the buffs they gave her, they didn't want to also give her the same weapon, so they are nerfing her weapon. Dual Swords, Dioscuri is going up by 5 AP, Star Steel is going up by 3 AP, and Spring and Autumn are going up by 3 AP. No Loigor and Star changes. I guess the devs gave up on Loigor and Star. Dual Swords are in a really bad spot right now, in my opinion, and makes sense that they're buffing them all. Arcana, the Star cooldown reduction is going down by 2%. I guess what they decided to do is just add it into the base kits, except for Ardina, and just remove some cooldown reduction from the weapon itself. The Shuriken Surisana attack power is going down from 90 to 85. This is mainly a Sahir nerf, from my understanding. I believe Shuriken's a here run Surisana. So fair enough. Main Sleeve finally is getting a little bit addressed, so it's losing 3 AP and 5% lifesteal. This weapon is really strong. It won't be nearly as strong, and I think it's well deserved. I don't know if it still needs nerf after this, but it's definitely a deserved change. Plasma Whip is losing 5 AP. This is mainly to Mai, actually. Laura also built Thunder Whip like Lennox, so this is a Mai nerf. Topha Windrunner is losing 5 AP, and Obsidian Chite is losing 5 AP. Toffee Hunwoo has been doing really well this season, so they're just nerfing the rare resources. You can honestly nerf the Hex for this. I know it's a Force Core weapon, but this is still incredibly strong. Windrunner gives him a lot of routing potential as well. So chest pieces, overall change with armor and chest pieces is they want to lower defense, at least for the chest. The chain armor is going down by 9 defense. This is just a blue chest piece, so whatever. Optical camouflage suit is actually losing its skill damage reduction. I play skill amp character, so I'm glad this was changed. And now I won't feel like I lost because they had optical camouflage suit on, but I know it's a nerf to crit characters. Crit's really strong right now, but I don't think it's the direction they needed to nerf it. They really just need to nerf crit as a whole. But the thing is, optical camouflage suit wasn't even really run. Like, most of the time the crit characters would run like Chang Pao or even like Crusader's armor instead. So yeah, it's interesting to change, but I'm fine with it, to be honest. Amazonas armor is losing 8 defense. That's a lot. Commander's armor is losing 4 defense. I don't like this change, but okay, sure. Aoyai is losing 15 defense. By the way, this is a Mai exclusive chest piece. It's not actually nerfed for Mai, in my opinion, because right now Mai mainly builds Phantom Jacket. This is probably mainly nerfed in squads due to the character she built Aoi for. So, like Rosie, like Rio, like some really top tier squad characters become even more broken when they get Aoi. So this makes perfect sense. Cabana's also losing 4 defense. I don't know, it's making it less and less likely that I want to stay in Cabana in the late game and or Commander's Armor. Looking like I'd want to switch to Queen of Hearts if possible, personally. Creed of the Knight's losing 3 AP, and Sheetha Shah Jahan is also losing 3 AP. They're interesting, they're nerfing AP on arm pieces. I think for arm pieces, switching to Mithril Shield is your ideal goal right now. I think Mithril Shield is even better than Auto Arms at this point. Like, the movement speed it grants and the attack speed it has on it makes it overall better for the majority of the cast than Auto Arms. Accessory, Jolly Rogers, Swift Stride's damage going down by 20, and Necronomicon scaling up is being gutted from 30% to 20%. I think if you have a better option to run, you will run it, unless you're going against a heavy life steal character and you want that 20% extra heal cut. I think this item's not going to be really used, because White Crane Fan has 11% scaling up, the 20% less heal cut, but it has 0.04% movement speed, or not percent, 0.04 MS on it. So you're losing mobility by switching the Necronomicon, so you should get increased damage, but it's only 9% more increased damage. Like, maybe I'm being too mean. I knew this item needed a nerf, but 10% scaling up off of it, a little bit overkill in my opinion. I think this item's just gonna be really niche at this point. Mode balancing, I'll see. I haven't really played any duos this week. I do plan on playing some duos, actually. I asked my duo partner, Kyoya, use any KR to see if we can play this week. It's just time zone sorting, so I'll have a little bit more knowledge in duos, hopefully, for the next patch notes to see if the changes are valid. But based off my knowledge of team modes from previous seasons and just in general, I can see if anything points out to me. I don't know if Bo Nadine needed a buff in duos. Like, she's not... Like, if you have someone to peel for Bo Nadine, I think she's, like, really strong. And they already... Like, she's already really good in solos. Like, so I think not really needed. Laura's being buffed in squads. I think, yeah, Laura's not good in squads. Leon's being buffed. Yeah, makes sense. Damage taken is actually going down. A little surprising, but they have nerfed Rosie quite a bit. This is in duos, not squads either. Damage taken in duos. Amai's getting nerfed, actually taking 4% more damage. Yeah, makes sense. Amai's really good in squads. Magnus, yeah, nothing else really stands out. I'm surprised Shukai's doing more damage, I guess. Thing is, Shukai's so boring to play, so people only play him when he's broken. So by buffing him and incentivize more people to play him, and he actually might be stronger than NN thinks he is, just because of the lack of player base. So keep an eye out on Shukai, because Shukai used to be like SS tier in team modes back in the day. Della's doing more damage and why I hate Della. Okay, Della is hard to play, I'll give you credit for that, but in the right hands, it's devastating to go against. St. Brian's actually getting nerfed. Oh, yeah, St. Brian's getting nerfed. Yawn is doing less damage in team modes. Very funny, considering you don't play him for damage, so... Okay, sure. Ava's getting a buff. Interesting. Jenny's nerfed. Carla is actually being buffed in both modes, ironically. Is the changes I think they're gonna do are just gonna kill the characters. Fair enough. Kathy with K. Damage dealt in squads is going up. A little funny. I think Chloe's really good right now. I know squads, it's not really replaced because she's mainly single target with like minimum CC and AoE. So I guess that makes sense on that front. And Shuriken Hedging's being nerfed, which is fair, because people only play Shuriken Hedging because of the damage ratios. Like, bow is better than Shuriken, but if the damage ratios are better on Shuriken than the bow, then people will play Shuriken. It depends on the ratio, though. So yeah, Cobalt Protocol. There's a lot of changes for Cobalt Protocol, and honestly, I like all. I have to say I like all of them. Or maybe I don't like one of them. I don't remember. So we'll look through it now. Some items just belong in the trash. Good news, you can now shred unwanted items and get credits back. Drag and drop the item into the shredder in the control room. It'll be instantly destroyed. You get credits back based on the rarity of the shredded item. Common is 5 credits, so I guess it's a camera. There's no other way to get uncommon items other than cameras. Rare is 8, that's your accessory. Epic's 8, that's just another slot too. Legendary is 15, and Mythic is 0. So the Mythic are the ones you buy from the shop for 125 credits. So don't accidentally discard that because you get 0. With the introduction of the Shredder, there will also be some changes to the equipment draft. The random option in the starting equipment draft can no longer roll legendary items. I honestly think this is a great change. It's not fun to go against a person who managed to roll like 2 or 3 legendary items right from the start of the game. So I think this is a good change. But the credits given when selecting the random option is going up by 2. But the equipment selector, the price is going up from 25 to 30. So you still will be able to only afford 1 even with these changes. You know, but the sold quality is pretty much unlimited. Like the odds of you actually rolling 99 times is 0. So it's basically infinite. You can no longer buy weapons of a type not matching the originally selected weapon. So if you are like me and accidentally pick Pistol Aya when you meant to pick AR Aya or Sniper Aya, then you're stuck on Pistol Aya. I don't know why they decided to change this, but I guess maybe for new players who don't know better. I'm assuming there's an exception for Alex because it'd be very weird if you can only buy 2-handed swords when you're on Alex. So I don't think this change was needed, but whatever. It's not the end of the world. Increased movement speed in the control room. Movement speed is increased by 30% in the control room so that everyone can comfortably buy infusions and use the shredder. Fair enough. New infusion, double trouble. Your basic attacks will be blasted and will blast enemies into the sky at the cost of reduced attack power. Level 1 to 20, attack power is reduced by 15%, but your basic attacks hit twice. 6-second cooldown. 40 credits. Attack power is reduced by 8%. Yeah, basic attacks hit twice, and then level 3 is they just hit twice. So if you want to play a double strike character, you now can with double trouble. But you probably will want to max this as soon as possible because losing 15 AP, I don't know if it's the whole time or only when this activates. I'm assuming that only when this activates. If it's the whole time, that would be even worse. But it's only when it's activated, it's fair enough. It'll be interesting to see. Like some characters may be like really broken with double striking. Yeah. Melter, extra true damage for basic attacks and skills. So they're like, what if you don't have a smolder weapon? Now introducing the new smolder infusion. So yes, now you can get smolder, not just for basic attacking, and for your skills. So yes, this is going to be very fun and interactive to deal with. I can't wait to deal with smolder on everyone and just die to random true damage dealt 4 times. And I'm assuming it's 4 times, like the same way that smolder works. I'm literally think this is just smolder for weapons and or basic attacks and skills. So yeah, this will be fun and not obnoxious to deal with at all. Your footsteps leave a poisonous mist dealing damage to anyone who comes in contact. So this is worse smolder. This is good smolder. This is worse smolder. Moving. Sorry, I already wrote what it is, but I'll reread it here. Moving leaves a trail of poisonous footsteps that deal 35 plus 1.5% target's max HP as true damage per second over 3 seconds to enemies who step on your trail. So this is like worse smolder. I know this one doesn't scale off of your target's HP, but I don't know if it only will affect once. Like, I wish they explained this a little bit more. It feels unexplained, but this melter seems 10 times better than this one because this one they have to actually step in some trail. This one you don't. So yeah. Victory emotes stuck on your enemies in style. Victory emotes pop up when you win in Cobalt Protocol. So that's what it looks like. Cool. Free rotation separation. Free rotation character pools between Lumia Island and Cobalt Protocol are now separate. The rotation for Cobalt Protocol will feature a bigger roster of characters. That's very nice. Yeah, so I don't have to be stuck with playing the same like 10 characters over and over again in Cobalt Protocol. Very nice. Okay, Fortitude, defense is going up by 5 at max level. Tenacity is being buffed. These, I don't know. Like, Tenacity is like good. Imagine this was like 100% Tenacity though. That would be insane. But when I say 100% Tenacity, it doesn't actually reduce it by 100%. It's like reduced by 50. So like if you have a 1 second stun, it's a 0.5 second. That's 100% reduction. It's just math wise. It's not like you get a 0 second stun. So this is like a 1 second stun is going to 0.6 seconds at max level, which is, I mean, it's better than nothing, but 0.6 seconds still is a long time. Barricade, increased defense by... They're buffing Barricade. Why? I think Barricade is so strong. Especially if you get Barricade with Cicella, by the way. Like, you pretty much become unkillable. I don't know why they buffed this infusion. Hyper Focus, activate when current HP is under 50% of max HP, is now under 65%. I don't remember what Hyper Focus does, but it's being buffed regardless. Martyr, 20 to 45% missing HP cellular, and 25 to 70, so this is getting actually a pretty big buff at max level. It's cellular damage, so that's why it's being buffed. Makes sense. Introversion activated if you haven't received combat 5 seconds or more, so now it's 3 seconds. Now this one seemed kind of bad because you're pretty much always in combat and you'd really not get used for it. So maybe I'll see more play now. Miasma Fog. Movement speed reduction is going from 20 to 65 to 25 to 75. This is getting buffed. Okay, very well. The Gag Order, 2 seconds after casting weapon skill, nearby enemy silence for 1.2 seconds, now 1.4 seconds silence. I think this one really depends on the weapon skill you have. Like, I can see this is used on whip skill, because often with whip skill, people will immediately use their mobility spell to get away from you. But if you have this, you'll be in range. The silence is for quite long, so I could see this having some better use now. Plasma Nova is cooldowns going down, time efficient cooldowns down, Party Rocker's cooldowns going down. I hate Party Rocker, by the way, but it didn't look that great for me. It just seems super annoying. The health insurance shield duration is lasting longer. Yeah, this one's not that great either. Next phase 1, deal basic attack 4 seconds after passing a killer influx, now 8 seconds. So yeah, this one's actually better now. And the slow is going from 20 to 30 to 25 60, so this is a huge slow. But they are slowed for a little less, but the slow is a lot better. I think this is an overall buff. Fissure and damage going from 12.8 max HP to 15.10 max HP. Very well. Dull Blades cooldowns being reduced in half. Yeah, and some Cobalt specific changes. Leon's being buffed. Dylan is, or Glove Dylan is being buffed. Mai is being buffed a lot. I don't know. Is Mai good in Cobalt? I am never sure what to think of Mai. Because Mai's good in the squads, but I don't know. I guess maybe she's not good in this mode. Hammer Magus damage dealt going down, thank goodness. Barbara's damage going up. This is because Toaster Barbara is pretty much nerfed in the ground. So they didn't buff her before because that playstyle was incredibly annoying to face in Cobalt, but no longer. Celine damage taken is going down, so she's not as squishy. His Dagger Shukai is not squishy. Thorough, same thing, not squishy. Sniper Ion does less damage. Who would have guessed? Pistol Isol's damage going down, same with AR Isol. 11 takes less damage as well. Dagger Jockey doing more. Axe doing more damage, takes less damage. This is because Axe Jockey is heavily reliant on attack speed items, so if you don't roll any attack speed items, you're kind of screwed. But I'm glad with the new change you can actually look for those attack speed items if you really need them. Dual Swords ultimate cooldown reductions going up. Or going down. So your ultimate's on a shorter cooldown. Carla's damage dealt is going up, and her ultimate's cooldown is also being decreased. So she's getting buffed, but this is because she's getting a massive nerf in general. Shuriken damage dealt is going on Chloe. Oh, who would have guessed? Not me. Kiara's damage is going up. I don't know. I thought Kiara was fine, but I feel like she really needs to have a good team because you need communication on who to execute because your team might kill someone that you need to execute, and then you're also on a really long cooldown and you can't do anything. Venusaur Fjord damage taken going down, so it is a buff. Rapier does more damage and takes more damage. Sure. Toppa Hyunwoo damage dealt is going down. I think Glove needs to be nerfed just as much as Toppa, but very well. Gameplay improvements, timing of Bookline's aggro gauge filled. You guys can just read this yourself. If there's anything noteworthy, I will point it out here. Now, this wolf one I've seen, actually, wolves will now return to their original position when characters move away after infiltrating or becoming invisible. This is kind of funny, because I've seen it happen before, but it's nothing major. I'm glad this has changed, by the way. Paying Cobalt Blue and Solar System Miniature now shows the items cooldown. That's really good. Okay, so any improvements here that are noteworthy? Okay, this seems actually like a big change. Laura is casting Sly Step or E right after performing a basic attack enhanced by teachings of area. Her passive no longer cancels the attack animation and properly activates her throw thing. So you can't auto attack or animation cancel her I guess the auto attack. This is what high elo Lauras are doing, so I'm assuming this is actually quite a big nerf to them, if I'm understanding this correctly. The auto attack right after using your E from the passive, it has no more attack animation cancel. So yeah, this is a nerf to high elo Laura players, like people who are really skilled with Laura. Oh, the root of explosive bullet now works in all location because it wasn't working before. Very interesting. Okay, but yeah, that's it. I don't notice anything here noteworthy. Yeah, this is the patch. I think the balance changes were extremely minor and won't change the meta at all. I'm really excited for the new Cobalt Protocol changes. I think those are great changes to have. Even just like the basic changes they're doing to the game, I think are interesting and I think fine overall. I didn't stand out to me as much as the Cobalt Protocol changes. Like what I mean, like these changes here. I think like they're fine, but nothing as noteworthy as the Cobalt Protocol changes. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are about this patch. Again, this is patch 0.62. There seems to be a lot coming up in patch 0.65, so I am excited to see what happens in that patch. But for now, I hope to see you at the next video. Bye-bye.